Hi everyone, welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. I'm having a lighting problem today. I don't know why because there's like a whole bunch of lights on. And yesterday it was fine. I think it may have something to do with my laptop. Um, but in any event, I'm trying to lighten this up. But bear with me today, okay guys? Hopefully you can see this video. I have to find out why it looks so dark right now, even though I have all these lights on. And I brought a new light, like a spotlight. So I don't know. But anyway, thank you for being here. This is Lisa's Love and Light. And hopefully you guys are having a good day and everything is going well. Hold on a moment. I'm going to get my drink. Health drink. So guys, it's hot today. Make sure you're drinking a lot of liquids, taking care of yourself, and just one day at a time, one step at a time. So with that being said, today is a nice day out. Get outside, self-care, self-care and self-love. Okay, anyway, I was trying to open that up, but it's not that. It's something with this lighting. But anyway, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on a message today. So remember, I'm not a therapist or social worker or a counselor, just someone who's going through a lot of trials, tribulations, and I talk about how to overcome instead of succumbing to it. So with that being said, guys, keep in mind, I'm not a social worker, I'm not a counselor or a therapist, just someone who talks about how to overcome instead of succumbing to the trials and tribulations. Today we're going to talk about something a little different, and the title is Getting Through the Dark Night of the Soul. And before we get into it, I want to know if this area where I am, I'm in a different part of the house, if this is probably better than where I was having the videos before. Let me know in the comment category. Trying to make things a little bit different. Still having issues with the lighting. But once again, the title is Getting Through the Dark Night of the Soul, which is not easy, guys. Getting through the dark night of the soul is where you go through trial after trial after trial, like a domino effect. Like you set up and line up dominoes, and then you hit one and all of them start to fall simultaneously. And that's how it feels with all these trials and tribulations. And then you start to ask yourself, what did I do to deserve this? But sometimes, guys, I'm going to tell you, speaking from my own personal experiences, sometimes God will set us down to show us what's happening behind the scenes. You know, because sometimes we trust folks, and because they're family, friends, and we knew them way back when, however, whenever. And sometimes what happens is that we don't know what's happening. And God will set us down, and just a whole bunch of stuff will happen. We start to question ourselves and what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right. And I also will say that these things are lessons, because if we are spinning on a wheel and not learning a lesson, sometimes God will let a whole bunch of things happen to get our attention so that we can pay attention to what's going on. I'm talking about this because during 2020, I had a situation like that where 15 deaths, including my mother. My father had passed away a while back, but I mean, a death of a good friend, and just all of the people who, loved me and I loved them passing away. And nobody understood. The people who I thought had my back was around me just disappeared, but they were only there when they needed something, to use, to take advantage of, to get whatever they needed, and then move on, their merry way. And sometimes, we need to see this for what it is and not think of it as something else. You know, if it's walking like a duck, it's quacking like a duck, it's looking like a duck, it's moving like a duck, then we can't say it's a dog or a bear. We have to see things for what they are. And when you see them, guys, you cannot unsee what the truth is. And so I had to see what I had in my life as far as a support system, people, family, doesn't matter what it was, guys. I had to be sat down so I could see the truth. And when I saw how people truly felt about me, the ones I had around me during my time of just pain and grief, they were not there. No one had time to understand, to listen. You know, and I'm not talking about giving me something, but just their time to listen, because I gave a lot to other people and I never got anything but breadcrumbs back in return. And that's what I needed to see so that I could learn the lesson, close out the cycle, close the door, and move on to bigger and better things for people who really would see my worth and my value, people who would just have my back. But I was never going to have that with all this other stuff in my life that wasn't doing me any good. So I had to be sat down to see what the truth was. And when I saw this, after especially doing therapy and doing the pro and a con list and seeing what I was bringing to the table, and no, guys, I'm not perfect and I'm not all of that, but I give a lot. And when people are just half-stepping or just using and abusing, then I have to look at and evaluate the situation and see what I'm bringing to the table and what they're bringing to the table. And if it's not equal, it's not mathing up, then I have to, do some maneuvering, cut off, block, and delete, set those boundaries first, and then cut off, block, and delete the rest. That's not for my highest good. It took a long time because all of these things were from 2020 until just 2025, the latter part of 2025, where I start to understand why I had to do that. Guys, nothing is worth your inner peace. It doesn't matter who, what, why, or where. Nothing is worth deteriorating your mental or physical health or stopping your growth or anything that's not for your highest good, that's tearing you up. You know, we have to make decisions. So the dark night of the soul is when so many things happen that are traumatic, that wakes us up to see what's going on around us. And then it's up to us to make a decision if we're going to continue to allow these things in our life, the people that I'm referring to and circumstances that they bring with it, or are we going to set those boundaries so that we can go in private and take care of our mental and physical health by setting boundaries. And when people started to overstep those boundaries and, do the most, then those boundaries had to be implemented. And of course, they don't like boundaries. Many people don't. But when I explained this is for me, and people didn't understand, then I had to close many doors. But at least I had the opportunity to see it for what it was and not what I wanted it to be. And that's the good thing about these lessons. They're not, they don't feel good. They don't make you feel happy, but it opens up your mind and yourself up to being awoken to what's really happening. And once you see those things that's really happening, you can't unsee them. So therefore, you have to make a decision. Are you going to keep these situations in your life? Are you going to do some modifications? Or are you going to set boundaries? Or are you just going to cut off, block, and delete? And those are questions I had to answer myself as I continue to do the work with therapy. And as I did, and set those boundaries. And when people were overstepping them, I had no choice but to cut off, because guys, when you take care of your mental and physical health, you can get the clarity, you can see things clearly. But when you are affected mentally by trauma and people bring in abuse and negativity to your life, it's hard to get clarity because you have all this confusion and chaos around you. And when you start to see things in a different light, I ask God all the time to help me. And when I see it for what it is, then I can make, decisions based on that. And don't be afraid to tell people no, that no, I'm sorry, I can't help you today because I have to do A, B, and C for me. Make sure you're taking the time on a daily basis, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, to do something for yourself that uplifts you, just for you, that puts a smile on your face, that uplifts your spirit. And all these things help take care of your mental and physical health. Because I can tell you from experience, if you stay in a place where you're arguing with people all the time, hating and fighting and all this drama and negativity, it will bring health issues, mental and physical health issues. And once I got rid of all of those burdens tons of bricks, as I use as a metaphor, as I got rid of that and took those things off my back, I was able to gain clarity and see the situations as lessons. I had to clear my broken mind to see things from a different perspective. And when I saw these things as lessons, and I unlearned ones that I had to learn them in order to move forward, to close out cycles. Once I saw that, I was able to move forward and things got better. I promise you guys, as you continue to move forward, bite, crawl through the problems, ask God to help you as you're going through it, you start to gain clarity on these things. And as you open up your mind and see these things from a different perspective, you can move forward. You can have that relationship that you want without the toxicity. You can manifest the things that you need and want in your life, but you can't manifest anything for your highest good if you have toxic people and situations constantly around you, bitter people who are miserable constantly in your space and time. Then you can never manifest, grow, heal, or evolve. That's why it's important to set those boundaries. And that's one of the things I learned from all these experiences of the dark night of the soul, going through all these things. People were not riding with me. They were actually riding against me because they will only show up when they needed something. And that's not how this goes. People who really have your back and care about you will be there, especially in your time of need. The grief was so overwhelming. Tomorrow will be the 6th year of the anniversary of my mom passing. And it just feels some kind of way. So I try to keep myself busy, help others. I wanted to be on here a little earlier today, but I was helping a woman out earlier who really, really needed to be uplifted and encouraged, because she's on a, how do I say it? She was on the verge of just collapsing and having a breakdown, and I had to really talk to her, pray for her. And, one of the things I can say on this video, for me, what really helped me is that if God, when I was in my lowest point, and I had no one around me, no physical help, the way that I needed anyway. And I said to God, this is too much. It's so hard. But when God thinks that you are worth it, He will lift you up, And as He lifted me up and helped me, if He thought I was worth it, guys, I had to think that I was worth it. And I started to move forward, persevere, bite through, crawl through circumstances. And once I looked at it from a different perspective, I was able to get through it. And what doesn't break you will make you stronger. I promise you that. And now things are better, because once you acquire that inner peace, you don't want to be back in a place of brokenness, or what I call as a metaphor, at the bottom of the barrel with miserable people. Yesterday I did a video on that, because sometimes people are miserable. They don't want to do the work to heal, grow, and evolve. They want to be miserable. Some people like it, and they want to company, and they want to draw you back down to that level. And when you grow, heal, and evolve, your peace means everything. And you don't compromise with that. So as these doors over here close, God will open up new doors as he has in my life. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy, but as you continue to move forward, um, and trust him and ask him to help you, you can manifest what you want in your life. And sometimes it means to cut off, block, and delete, because like I say in these videos, people, circumstances, and situations sometimes only come into our lives for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And it doesn't matter if we share DNA, etc. We are supposed to learn lessons, and once we do, then we can set those boundaries or close those cycles and doors so that we can move over here to the things that we're manifesting and the new doors that God is opening and blessing us with. And I am a living example of that. One of the things before I end this video, because I have to go back to work, is the power of silence. As I was telling this young woman earlier who I was talking to, when you give people who want to draw out some negativity out of you and make you act out of character so they can point fingers and say whatever, when you give them the power of silence, I'm telling you, I never understood that until I started to apply that in my life. That is so powerful, because you're telling them, I will not participate in your drama and your negativity. I will not allow you to bring me back from a place that I've already healed. I will leave you as you are as I move forward. No words, no interacting. As I always say, that a fire cannot be ignited if you don't participate and play the game. So guys, continue to take care of yourself. You don't have to explain a lot to people that you're healing and growing and you need time to yourself. Take that time. And if they don't understand, that's not your problem or issue. It is okay, remember guys, to say no when it's necessary. Always take care of yourself and never feel guilty for that. That's the message today. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. Thank you for being here, guys. Share these videos with other folks. Tell me what you think about this area, and I may stay down here in this space, but just let me know. And also share the video, subscribe to it, invite others to do the same. Go and enjoy this beautiful weather today, guys. Remember, you are worth it. This is Lisa, shedding love and light. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow sometime. Not sure of the time yet, but I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.